Hi, Julie. Thanks for joining us today and talking about handling resistance.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Could you share a story with us today of how you were faced with resistance in your career?
Sure. So when I first came over to the regulatory compliance team, I was able to see how many violations we had, both in years past and what we were receiving last year. And there was a large number coming in. So it was to no surprise. We had to dig into the reasons why we were getting so many. And so we pulled in the operations team as well as my team on regulatory compliance and asked some questions about the violations. And come to find out, several of the operations folks were stating to us that they didn't really believe we actually violated anything. They felt that they could produce a record or a piece of documentation that could support us not getting the violation. And so I had asked my team if they had ever done that before, if we had ever challenged any of these violations or had conversations with the commission about it. And my team shared with me that they had never done that. And in fact, they were a little bit nervous about even the idea of it because they didn't want to jeopardize our regulatory relationship with the commission. And we had worked very hard to be in good standing with the commission. But with that, I didn't really feel like we should be getting violations for things where we really could produce something or demonstrate compliance to the rules.
Right.
So I had a conversation with the MPSC supervisor in gas and shared with him that I think we would like to have an alignment discussion and really understand what they believed we violated, and then the opportunity to share our perspective on it. We just really wanted to have that conversation with them. And he was a bit resistant about it to begin with because we had never done that.
Right.
And he had asked some questions about it and for clarity. And then we ultimately, he agreed to meeting with us. And both his team in the end and my team learned some things about how we interpret the rules and why we believed we could demonstrate compliance and why in some instances they believed we couldn't. And so in the end, it really was a win-win.
Great. Which of these techniques in the resistance roundabout did you use to resolve the resistance challenge that you described?
Yeah, so the providing context and background I think was really key in this instance. Sharing with the commission why we believe we had some things to understand and why we wanted to further that understanding, I think was the big piece behind that.
What would you have done differently?
I think moving forward, we really need to evaluate each violation on its own and really dig into the details of it to ensure that it is something that we really did violate. And if it isn't, then we need to have that conversation moving forward.
Great. What key advice would you share with others on handling resistance?
I think the key advice I would share is really providing value to the other person that you're having the conversation with and making sure that it is a win for them as well. So that it's not just a win for us, but that it can be collaborative and successful for both teams.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing your story today, Julie.
Thank you for having me.